I can create nets and understand their purpose. So nets are a way of unfolding a three-dimensional object to find the area of its surfaces. So what I have here is a net, and I'm thinking with this over here, you may be able to guess what it is a net of. But if you look, this is a net of a Kleenex box because I can take it and actually fold it back into its shape. So this is a net. It's what it would look like if I unfolded this three-dimensional object. Now, interestingly enough, this is one net of a Kleenex box. And this is another net of the exact same type of box. So if you notice, it is not configured in the exact same way. It's actually pretty different, but it's still another way that I can just take a box and fold it up to turn it into a Kleenex box. So a net is when you take a three-dimensional object and you pretty much lay it flat so that you can see all of its surfaces. There are several different types of shapes that we can make nets out of. Here are just a few. I could have a cube. A cube has all of the sides are square and all of the sides are parallel and opposite to one another. So I'm going to say square sides and all opposite sides are parallel. So a cube is this shape right here. A right rectangular prism, what that means is it's right because it's standing straight up, and you consider that a right angle if something is standing straight up. And a rectangle obviously is a rectangle. A prism means that the bases are parallel to one another. So a right rectangular prism is actually this one right here, because it could stand straight up. It's not going to be sideways at all or crooked. And the definition is that the bases are parallel and opposite sides are parallel. And actually, they are also the same size. So the bases are parallel and the same shape. And then the sides are also parallel and the same. A triangular prism is a lot like a rectangular prism, except that the bases are triangles. So they have triangular bases, and I'm going to put triangular parallel bases. And then they won't have opposite sides because there's only going to be three sides. So a triangular prism is this one right here. You notice that it makes like a tube or like a tunnel. Triangular pyramid is different from a prism because the bases are not parallel to one another. They actually meet in a pyramid or a point. Now, you notice that we have these two shapes left. One is a triangular pyramid because the base is a triangle. So a triangular pyramid has a triangular base. And the faces meet at a point. So a triangular pyramid is this one, all the way up here. And finally, we have a square pyramid. It's got a square base. And these faces meet at a point also. So this is your square pyramid. The thing keep straight is that pyramids always meet at one point, and prisms always have sides that are parallel and the exact same shape. Or not sides, but bases. So I'm going to go ahead and erase this mess. And then we'll move on to the next slide. Now I do have a set of nets that another teacher has right now that we can actually see all of these shapes spread out as a net, but I will show them to you in class tomorrow so that you can all see them. We'll all have a chance to see them. So I want to know which of the following of these would unfold to make a cube. Now honestly, I have a tough time seeing in 3 dimension, so some of you will too. Others of you are going to have no problem with this because you'll be like, oh, I know how to do this. Nets are just something that I struggle with a little bit. It's tough for me to tell whether or not I can fold it up into a shape. So what I want you to do for this video tonight is just see if you can figure it out. When you come to school tomorrow, if you've watched this video, I have a bunch of these cut out, ready to cut out, so that you can fold them and see if they can make a shape, because honestly, it's tough for me to tell. But I'm going to go ahead and pick one and we'll see if we can figure it out. Let's go ahead and try this first one. Remember, the bases have to be parallel to one another. So if I were going to fold it, I could say this is going to be the bottom, and then I would fold up these 2 sides, and I would fold up these 2 sides, and then if I did that, this would be kind of at a point. I'm trying to think. Jaden, please move the pen. If I folded it up, so this side would match up with that side, and they would fold up, and this side could fold up to that side and they would match. But then we have this guy, and I'm thinking, I don't think that would work because I don't think we'd be able to cut him off. We would have to actually just cut the piece out and then place it on top, which isn't what a net is. It's got to be able to be unfolded that way. So I'm thinking that one won't work, but maybe you can prove me wrong. I really honestly am not very good at deciding whether or not a net would work. But once again, just so you know, if you can take this flat shape like this and you can fold it up and it can make a cube without cutting any of the pieces off, then it is going to be a net. So if you want, you could even cut some of these out yourself at home and figure it out that way. But I want you to give them a try, see how it goes. Here's some keywords that you are going to need to know. And I wish that I had been smart and left a shape on here so I don't have to draw it, but I'm going to go ahead and draw a cube because it's the only thing I can sort of draw in 3 dimensions relatively well. So if this is my cube, the faces are the flat sides, I guess would be the best definition. So I'm going to say the flat sides of a shape. The bases are going to be the top and the bottom or sometimes just the bottom in the case of like a pyramid where there's just a point at the top. It could just be just the bottom. Now, an interesting thing about cubes and rectangular prisms is that you can really just flip them just about any way and call it a base depending on which direction it's facing. But with triangular prisms, the bases have to be those triangles, so you can't just flip it on its side and say that the base is now that bottom piece. And then the vertices, or the vertex, are the points where they meet. So they would be all of these little things off to the side. So the vertex is the point where, oh, and I just thought of another word I don't have up here. The edges meet. I guess this is the way I'll know if you watched the video tonight, because I'm going to give you one more definition, and that is an edge. So if you don't have this on your paper, I know you probably didn't watch the video. So an edge is the line between faces. So this would be my edge right here. Or this one. Any any of these straight lines is an edge. And the vertice is the place where they meet, or the vertex, if there's just one. Vertice is plural. Erase this. Hopefully you now feel like you can create nets and understand their purpose. Tomorrow in class, you're going to get to make a whole bunch of nets. It's going to be pretty fun. So make sure you bring your scissors and tape or glue so that we can put them together. Tape would actually be better than glue if you have it. Bring that. Otherwise, glue will be fine. I'll see you tomorrow.